Department. All new tonight, 2 officers are suing the city saying they were targeted by top brass.
Investigating the stories that matter to you. Live from Columbia in high definition. This is WIS News 10.
New developments tonight in the sled investigation into the Columbia Police Department.
Our Jody Barr has confirmed the FBI is now involved in this investigation and has already conducted interviews with some of the people named in the case. All new tonight, in addition to the FBI involvement, we're hearing from a married Columbia Police Department couple who say they believe they were the targets of the city's top law enforcers.
Our lead investigative reporter, Jody Barr, joins us now. And Jody, this couple says that when they heard former Captain Dave Navarro's story, it answered a lot of questions for them.
That's what they say. You know, current Columbia police officers Andre and Shannon Williams are both suing the city. They say they were targeted by former Chief Randy Scott, Interim Chief Ruben Santiago, and Deputy Police Chief Leslie Weiser. Andre and Shannon Williams met with us Sunday with their attorneys to explain how Dave Navarro's story about a plan to plant a stolen gun and cocaine inside a top city official's car is connected to them. We asked the city for permission to interview the Williams. The city immediately denied that request, then said okay. Our viewers are not hearing from your clients today. They're hearing from you. Why is that?
The short answer to that is that the Williams are fearful for their job. They're still employed with the City of Columbia Police Department, and despite being told that they could talk because of what we've alleged in the complaint and past retaliation against them, they're fearful for their job.
Andre and Shannon Williams have worked for CPD collectively for more than 40 years. But 3 years ago, when a plan to have the Richland County Sheriff take over the city's police force, Andre Williams spoke out at a public hearing. That's when Williams says his trouble started.
Could they have had animosity coming from that? It's possible. And I think if you look at the facts, the overwhelming treatment that both Mr. and Ms. Williams received, you do see a concerted effort by the command staff at the City Police Department to target and disparately treat my clients, both Mrs. Williams and Mr. Williams.
Andre Williams was demoted, accused of providing funeral escorts while on the clock. It was an accusation his attorney says CPD's internal affairs found wasn't true. Shannon Williams says when CPD couldn't take her husband out, they went after her. Shannon was also investigated by internal affairs in an excessive force case. She was fired, then rehired after the city's grievance committee found the city had no grounds to fire her. What roles did they play in what you've alleged is the targeting of Mr. and Mrs. Williams?
Defendant Ruben Santiago, the interim chief, played a direct role. Otherwise, he would not have been named in these lawsuits.
Andre Williams is over the city's west region, the area surrounding Harbison Boulevard. Former Captain Dave Navarro says interim chief Ruben Santiago was sending him there to take over. Navarro says he was ready to go until he says Santiago told him why he really wanted him there.
He says, you know who's over there in the West region, don't you? And I said, no, sir, I have no idea. I don't know anybody that's on that region. And he says, Andre Williams. And I said, what about Andre Williams? He says, I need you to help me conduct black ops on Andre Williams. Those were his exact words.
Navarro says Santiago never gave him the details.
At that point right there was my turning point. So I looked at him and I said, Chief, I thought you said this black ops thing was a Randy Scott thing, you know? And of course, he immediately went into the laughing and the joking and things of this nature. At that point, I already knew that basically the main reason why he wanted me to go to West Region, one of the main reasons, it was to use me, or at least try to use me, to try to conduct corruption. At that point, and I told him, I said, I'm going to speak to some people and I'm going to get an attorney.
Navarro says before meeting with Santiago, another high-ranking CPD officer told him they had already conducted black ops on Andre Williams.
What kind of things have you been doing? You have not, you know, compromised your integrity. And he said, no, not like that. We just been doing, he actually mentioned to me that he's been doing black ops on Andre Williams.
So before the proposal was ever made to you to black ops Andre Williams, you got information that had actually taken place before.
Yes.
Navarro talked specifically about a second Black Ops operation, and he tells us that operation involved your client, Andre Williams.
It's consistent with what we've alleged.
What was the purpose? What was the point of going after these two?
To punish. To punish for speaking out, to punish for fighting charges for which they didn't deserve, to fight for standing up against allegations, for standing up for himself, for standing up for herself, for standing up for their livelihood.
We've reached out to Columbia Police Interim Chief Ruben Santiago to have him come on camera and answer these allegations. Santiago would not grant the interview, instead issued this statement. He says, "I have been apprised of the allegations concerning me, and I unequivocally deny them and any current or future allegation regarding this matter. Furthermore, this matter has been referred for investigation, and there will be no additional comment." In January, the city filed an answer to the Williams lawsuit, outright denying every allegation, including any form of conspiracy by CPD brass.
There you had the Williams sitting next to their lawyers, not speaking, fearful for their jobs. Verna Ward last week, Navarro's co-worker, she spoke out, still fearful for her job. Any word on her employment status with the city?
Now, the last time I talked with Ms. York was the end of last week after that story aired, and she told me she has taken a leave from the city to deal with what she said was the distress, the emotional toll that she says this is all taken on her, and has not yet returned to the day-to-day operations.
All right, Jody Barr, keep us up to date. We appreciate it, Jody.
Yes,